Unit 1, Chapter 1, Human Geography, Nature and Scope. You have already studied geography as a discipline in Chapter 1 of the book, Fundamentals of Physical Geography, NCERT 2006. Do you recall the contents? This chapter has broadly covered and introduced you to the nature of geography. You are also acquainted with the important branches that sprout from the body of geography. If you read it, the chapter, you will be able to recall the link of human geography with the mother discipline, that is geography. As you know, geography as a field of study is integrative, empirical, and practical. Thus, the reach of geography is extensive, and each and every event or phenomenon which varies over space and time can be studied geographically. How do you see the Earth's surface? Do you realize that the Earth comprises two major components: nature, physical environment, and life forms, including human beings? Make a list of physical and human components of your surroundings. Physical geography studies physical environment, and human geography studies the relationship between the physical or natural and the human world, the spatial distribution of human phenomena and how they come about, the social and economic differences between different parts of the world. You are already aware of the fact that the core concern of geography as a discipline is to understand an earth as home of human beings and to study all those elements which have sustained them. The emphasis is on study of nature and human beings. You will realize that geography got subjected to dualism, and the wide-ranging debate started whether geography as a discipline should be a law-making or theorizing, means nomothetic, or descriptive, means ideographic. Whether its subject matter should be organized, and approach of the study should be regional or systematic. Comment this. Whether geographical phenomena be interpreted theoretically or through historic institutional approach. Comment this. These have been issues for intellectual exercises, but finally you will appreciate that the dichotomy between physical and human is not a very valid one, because nature and human are inseparable elements and should be seen holistically. It is interesting to note that both physical and human, Agnew J. Livingstone, David N. and Roger A. 1996, Blackwell Publishing Limited, Malden, USA P1 and 2. Phenomena are described in metaphor using symbols from the human anatomy. We often talk of the face of the earth, eye of the storm, mouth of the river, snout, nose of the glacier, neck of the isthmus, and profile of the soil. Similarly, region, village, town have been described as organisms. German geographer described the state or country as a living organisms. Networks of roads, railways, and waterways have often been described as arteries of circulation. Can you collect such terms and expressions from your own language? Comment this. The basic question now arises: can we separate nature and human when they are so intricately intertwined? Comment this. Human geography defined. Human geography is the synthetic study of relationship between human societies and earth surfaces. Say it red cell. Synthesis has been emphasized in the above definition. Human geography is the study of the changing relationship between the unresting man and the unstable earth, said LNC Sample. Dynamism in the relationship is the key word in Sample's definition. Conception resulting from a more synthetic knowledge of the physical laws governing our earth and of the relations between the living beings which inhabit it, said Paul Vidal de la Blase. Human geography offers a new conception of the interrelationship between earth and human beings. Nature of human geography. Human geography studies the interrelationship between the physical environment and socio-cultural environment created by human beings through mutual interaction with each other. You have already studied the element of physical environment in class 11 in the book entitled Fundamental of Physical Geography NCERT 2006. You know that these elements are landform, soil, climate, water, natural vegetation, and diverse flora and fauna. Can you make a list of elements which human beings have created through their activities on the stage provided by the physical environment? Houses, villages, cities, road, rails, network, industries, farms, sports, items of our daily uses, all other elements of material culture have been created by human beings using the resources provided by the physical environment. While physical environment has been greatly modified by human beings, it has also in turn impacted human lives. Naturalism of humans and humanization of nature. Human beings interact with their physical environment with the help of technology. It is not important what human beings produce and create, but it is extremely important with the help of what tools and techniques do they produce and create. Technology indicates the level of cultural development of society. Human beings were able to develop technology after they developed better understanding of natural laws. For example, the understanding of concept of friction and heat helped us discover fire. Similarly, understanding of secrets of DNA and genetics enable us to conquer many diseases. We use the laws of aerodynamics to develop faster planes. You can see that knowledge about nature is extremely important to develop technology, and technology loosens the shackles of environment on human beings. In the early stages of their interaction with their natural environment, humans were greatly influenced by it. They adapted to the dictates of nature. This is so because the level of technology was very low and stage of human social development was also primitive. This type of interaction between primitive human society and strong forces of nature was termed as environmental determinisms. At the stage of very low technological development, we can imagine the presence of a naturalized human who listened to nature, was afraid of its fury and worshipped it. The naturalisms of human. Benda lives in the wilds of the Abuj Madh area of central India. His village consists of three hard chiefs in the wild. Not even birds or stray dogs that usually crowd villages can be seen in these areas. Wearing a small loin cloth and armed with his axe, he slowly surveys the Penda means forest, where his tribe practiced a primitive form of agriculture called shifting cultivation. Benda and his friend burn small patches of forest to clear them for cultivation. The ash is used for making the soil fertile. Benda is happy that the mahua trees around him are in bloom. How lucky I am to be a part of this beautiful universe, he thinks as he looks up to see the mahua, palas and shal trees that have sheltered him since childhood. Crossing the Penda in a gliding motion, Benda makes his way to a stream. As he bends down to scoop up a palmful of water, he remembers to thank Loilugi, the spirit of the forest, for allowing him to quench his thirst. Moving on with his friend, Bendak chews on succulent leaves and roots. The boys have been trying to collect gajara and kuchila from the forest. These are special plants that Benda and his people use. He hopes the spirit of the forest will be kind and lead him to this herb. These are needed to barter in the Madhai or tribal fair coming up. The next full moon, he closes his eyes and tries hard to recall what the elders had taught him about these herbs and the places they are found in. He wishes he had listened more carefully. Suddenly, there is a rustling of leaves. Benda and his friend know it is the outsider who have come searching for them in the wilds. In a single fluid motion, Benda and his friend disappear behind the thick canopy of trees and become one with the spirit of the forest. The story in the box represents the direct relationship of a household belonging to an economically primitive society with nature. Read about other primitive societies which live in complete harmony with their natural environment. You will realize that in all such cases, nature is a powerful force, worshipped, revered, and conserved. There is direct dependence of human beings on nature for resources which sustain them. The physical and environment for such societies become the mother nature. The people begin to understand the environment and the forces of nature with the passage of time. With social and cultural development, human develops better and more efficient technology. They move from a state of necessity to a state of freedom. They create possibilities with the resource obtained from the environment. The human activities create cultural landscape. The imprints of human activities are created everywhere. Health resorts on highlands, huge urban sprawls, fields, orchards and pastures in plains and rolling hills, ports on the coast, oceanic routes on the oceanic surface, and satellite into space. The earliest scholars termed this an possibilism. Nature provides opportunities and human beings make use of this. Slowly nature gets humanized and starts bearing the imprints of human endeavor. Humanism of nature. Winters in the town of Trondheim mean fierce wind and heavy snow. The skies are dark for months. Kari drives to work in the dark at 8 a.m. He has special tires for the winter and keeps the headlights of her powerful car switched on. Her office is artificially heated at a comfortable 23 degrees Celsius. The campus of the university she works in is built under a huge glass dome. This dome keeps the snow out in winter and lets in the sunshine in the summer. The temperature is controlled carefully and there is adequate lighting. Even though fresh vegetables and plants don't grow in such harsh weather, Curry keeps on orchid on her decks and enjoys eating tropical fruits like banana and kiwi. These are flown in from warmer areas regularly. With a click of the mouse, Curry can network with colleagues in New Delhi. She frequently takes a morning flight to London and returns in the evening in time to watch her favorite television serial. Though Curry is 58 years old, she's filtered She's fitter and looks younger than many 30 years olds in other parts of the world. Can you imagine what has made such a lifestyle possible? It is technology that has allowed the people of Trondheim and others to overcome the constraint imposed by nature. Do you know about some other such instances? Such examples are not difficult to find. A geographer, Griffith Taylor, introduced another concept which reflects a middle path, Madhyam Marg, between the two ideas of environmental determinisms and possibilisms. He termed it as neo-determinisms or stop and go determinisms. Those of you who live in cities and those who have visited in a city might have seen that traffic is regulated by lights on the crossroad. Red lights mean stop, amber light provides a gap between red and green lights to get set, and red light means go. The concept shows that neither is there a situation of absolute necessity, environmental determinisms, nor is there a condition of absolute freedom, possibilism. It means that human beings can conquer nature by obeying it. They have to respond to the red signal and can proceed in their pursuit of development when nature permits the modification. It means that possibilities can be created within the limits which do not damage the environment, and there is no free run without accident. The free run which the developed economics attempted to take has already resulted in the greenhouse effect, ozone layer depletions, global warming, receding glaciers and degrading lands. The neo-determinism conceptually attempts to bring a balance, nullifying the either or dichotomy. Human geography through the corridors of time, the processes of adaptation, adjustment with and modification of the environment started with the appearance of human beings over the surface of the earth in different ecological niches. Thus, if we imagine the beginning of human geography with the interaction of environment and human beings, it has its roots deep in history. Thus, the concern of human geography have a long temporal continuum, though the approaches to articulate them have changed over time. This dynamism in approaches and thrusts shows the vibrant nature of the discipline. Earlier, there was little interaction between different societies and the knowledge about each other was limited. Travelers and explorers used to disseminate information about the areas of their visit. Navigational skills were not developed and voyages were fraught with dangers. The late 15th century witnessed attempts of exploration in Europe, and slowly the myths and mysteries about countries and people started to open up. The colonial period provided impetus to further exploration in order to access the resources of regions and to obtain inventorious information. The intentions here is not to present an in-depth historical account but to make you aware of the process of steady development of human geography. The summarized table will introduce you to the broad stage and the thrust of human geography as a subfield of geography. Welfare or humanistic school of thought in human geography was mainly concerned with the different aspects of social well-being of the people. This included aspects such as housing, health, and education. Geographers have already introduced a paper as Geography of Social Well-being in the post-graduation curriculum. Radical school of thought employed Marxian theory in explain the basic cause of poverty, deprivation, and social inequality. Contemporary social problems were related to the development of capitalism. Behavioral school of thought laid great emphasis on lived experience and also on the perception of space by social categories based on ethnicity, race and religion, etc. Fields and subfields of human geography. Human geography, as you have seen, attempts to explain the relationship between all elements of human life and the space they occur over. Thus, human geography assumes a highly interdisciplinary nature. It develops close, broad stages and thrust of human geography, period, approaches, broad features. Early colonial period, exploration and description, imperial and trade interests promoted the discovery and exploration of new areas, and encyclopedic description of the area formed an important aspect of the geographer's account. Later colonial period, regional analysis, elaborate description of all aspects of a region were undertaken. The idea was that all the regions were part of a whole, that is the true earth. So understanding the parts in totality would lead to an understanding of the whole. 1930s through the inner interwar period, areal differentiation. The focus was on identifying the uniqueness of any region and understanding how and why it was different from others. Late 1950s to the late 1960s, special organization marked by the use of computers and sophisticated statistical tools. Laws of physics were often applied to map and analyze human phenomena. This phase was called the quantitative revolution. The main objective was to identify mappable patterns for different human activities. 1970s, emergence of humanistic, radical and behavioral schools. Discontentment with the quantitative revolution and its dehumanized manner of doing geography led to the emergence of three new schools of thought of human geography in the 1970s. Human geography was made more relevant to the socio-political reality by the emergence of these schools of thought. Consult the box below to know a little bit more about the schools of thought. 1990s post-modernisms in geography, the grand generalization and the applicability of universal theories to explain the human conditions were questioned. The importance of understanding each local context in its own rights was emphasized. Interface with other sister disciplines in social sciences in order to understand and explain human element on the surface of the earth. With the expansion of knowledge, new subfields emerge, and it has also happened to human geography. Let us examine these fields and subfields of human geography. Table, you would have noticed that the list is large and comprehensive. It reflects the expanding realm of human geography. The boundaries between subfields often overlap. What follows in this book in the form of chapter will provide you a fairly widespread coverage of different aspects of human geography. The exercises, the activities and the case studies will provide you with some empirical instances so as to have a better understanding of its subject matter. Human geography and sister disciplines of social sciences. Fields of human geography, subfields, interface with sister disciplines of social sciences. Social geography, behavioral geography, geography of social sciences, sociology, psychology, geography of social well-being, welfare economics, geography of leisure, sociology, cultural geography, anthropology, gender geography, sociology, anthropology, women's studies, historical geography, history, medical geography, epidemiology. urban geography, urban studies and planning, political geography, political science, electoral geography, physiology, military geography, military science, population geography, demography, settlement geography, urban or rural planning, economic geography, economics, geography of resources, resource economics, geography of agriculture, agricultural sciences, geography of industries, industrial economics, geography of marketing, business studies, economics, commerce, geography of tourism, tourism and travel management, geography of international trade, international trade. Exercises, comment this.